happens.
Yeah, please don't be the victim of. These things aren't normal. These things are the unspeakable.
Aren't normal.
Not part of proper function. You know, let thy new seed grow innocently.
Interesting.
Let that be the new proclamation. Yeah.
Innocent.
Let them be without burden. Let them not carry the sins of the fathers
There you go.
inside of them. Ah, bam. The new commandments from the multi-eyed God.
But quickly,
Mm.
quickly, what happens is that if I was
Human
started
perversion.
like cutting off
Beings start
people's
taking that.
fingers and keeping them as like a necklace, then I'm going to say that that's not a sin. I'm going to say that was a good thing, and I'm going to start passing down
Well,
that that's a good thing to do.
morally viable. We get to that point where it becomes morally viable. You
Morals
know what
are
I mean? Like,
fashion.
what's the best fashion that we can wear this week? What is the current thing this week, Si? What
What you can
are
always
we
come down to
accepting?
is can you do it to
What are we
yourself?
coming to terms with? Well, if you can't do it to yourself, I would suggest not to do it to others.
That's it.
There's your boundaries.
Because
You
if
are
you cut
not
off all your
willing to
fingers,
take the price yourself, cut off all your fingers, and
you're
you
not
are
going to be
not
able to hold the
allowed
thing to cut off someone else's
hold the
fingers.
license to be able to cut off somebody else's fingers. Exactly, unless you cut off all your
Yeah, you
fingers.
won't be able to do it. Like how are you going to hold the
Mm,
thing? It'll
Yeah.
fall out of your non-existent hand.
It'll create that reality for you where you won't be able to dispense it. It'll taken away all the chances, all 20 chances from fingers to toes.
I mean, even trying to grab the person will become extremely difficult to hold them there.
Near impossible. Hmm.
Hmm.
I mean, you'd have to have some real determination about you if you were willing to build some sort of apparatus to attach to be able to
Oh,
achieve it. Like you definitely want sponsorship or at least have some
but it
sort
would
of
also be a
trust
very
fund or whatever.
complicated thing to pass down because then what you'd be passing down is that what you need to do is cut off all your fingers, build this weird contraption, and then cut off other
Mm.
people's fingers. And then you're like your son would be looking at you going,
Wouldn't
"Nah, that
wouldn't it
sounds like
be
a
that you
fuck
get
thing,
you
Dad. I don't want to do that."
wouldn't it wouldn't it be that when you got to 20 chances that they just go nah? Like once you've removed enough of yourself, they would automatically in society understand where your headspace is and therefore give you the willing release that you so willingly desire.
But seriously, if you're trying to pass down
Mm,
cutting off fingers, then what you got to do is cut off your own. And so then you got to tell the person that they have to cut off their own. That's the sequence. So what you're trying to do is passing down, chopping off all your fingers. It's sort of got a self-protective mechanism in it immediately,
It
hasn't it?
has. Like
Yeah,
from
no.
the first finger, wouldn't you know that you wouldn't want to do that?
I don't think
Like
I could convince my son to
once
do
you'd
that.
issued it to yourself, wouldn't you go, I really would never want to do like it's almost like what happened to me. Like I would not want to give that to somebody else.
Hmm.
Like I would not want to pass on that meme which is taking off the gland to someone else. Like to me it was
The
no ends
protective.
here. Yeah. And again back to ownership, you say no. No.
And the same thing. Like if you
Yeah.
want to
El
take,
Naturel, El Naturel, please. Can you
if you
sign
want to
me up for
cut,
the El
if
Naturel
you want to cut
package,
the thing off, the head of the thing off your dick.
It needs charging.
If you want to cut the foreskin off, then what you got to do is
Mm,
cut your own off as an adult.
It
Oh,
only takes a few minutes
give
though.
it a go.
I mean, I,
Could you do it to yourself though?
I got nothing left to take off.
No,
So
but
if I take off more, I'm going to be like less than what I
but as the
started with.
the
So
propagator of the
way less
meme,
than what I started with. So
this is why I say morals, ethics, all this other
mm,
stuff. To me, the root thing you get to is
yeah,
do it to yourself.
yeah, yeah. And I've been in
No,
total agreement to that. Like
how do you sexually assault yourself? It's pretty
unless you're
difficult.
unless you're prepared to go through that experience yourself, then why push it on others, right?
But the other thing I want to
Or
say
at
is if
least have an
the
audience
thing about
curse you.
like you can
Like
only do unto others that which you've done unto yourself. You can do it unto yourself.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
once again, if you cut your
No
finger off,
point bringing. Yeah, yeah.
you cut your finger off, you
Mm,
gave yourself consent to cut your finger off. You couldn't have not. If you cut your own finger off, you can't do it without consent.
mm, mm.
How would you cut your
Well,
own finger
it's
off
the reason I got
non-consenting?
my tongue double pierced. Like it was for the consent of knowing what the pain was.
So if you went to someone else and then you're like,
Mm,
I've cut all my fingers off, so now I've got the right to cut other people's fingers off. You do, but if you think about what your action was, you did it to yourself with consent. So you'd actually have to have the other
20
person
times. So you'd
consent.
have to have real resolve.
But the other
Like
person you're
each
doing
one
it
you
to,
took off would be more
the
resolve,
other
wouldn't it?
person you're doing it to after that would have to give you consent
Would have to give you consent.
because you
Like
gave
go,
yourself
yes,
consent.
take it off. You're a professional.
So
You've
morals,
taken them
ethics, it's a
all off.
bunch of shit. That is
You've
that is
taken them
the
all off.
measure you apply to everything.
You are willing and able to take off whatever I
It's like
want
stealing.
taken off.
Because
Exactly.
stealing is like
Mm.
the way you have like without permission taken something from someone else. Go and try and take anything from yourself without permission. Fucking try it. Try and take anything from yourself without giving yourself permission to do so. It is
Well,
fucking
you're gonna get
impossible.
your ass kicked.
But
You
how can
want
you
to
do
know
it
how
to
to
yourself?
box. You want to know how to box.
What with yourself?
Shadow boxing.
Well, you can't steal from yourself without knowing you did it. You can't.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't.
You'd have
You
to
have to know
you'd have
that
to
you
be
did
in
it.
that aspect where you had multiples inside. Part of the Legion program.
Okay, if you're part of a Legion program,
Which
one of your
which
cells
we'll
robbed you.
create when we create the analogy for that.
Okay.
That's being schizophrenic, right? When you're part of the Legion crew, you are truly schizophrenic because you have multiple personalities. So
at the point where you have multiple personalities and one of your personalities manages to non-consensually, like,
Which
then
is highly possible,
yeah,
depending on the
no,
personality.
rob you don't even know about
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah,
example,
yeah.
then
Steal
sure,
all your
yep,
assets.
you
And all-
have entered a special realm,
Yeah.
pretty rare,
Sleep
where
programming, extremely rare.
where you might get away with. You could okay, that's justifiable. Yeah, fucking all right.
Yeah, okay, we're putting it down.
And
Blast, bro.
we're a
It's
tinsy
Max Ripper today.
we're the tinsy bit of the population. It's not many.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Highly fractionable.
Highly fractionable.